Chapter 3. The Empire is making progress in its assault, and we are suffering. Our buffer duchy of Borneo between Navarone and the Empire is hard-pressed, and Volcens refuses to aid it, while his advisors snipe at Roswick and imply that Borneo may be unloyal. Once out of the office and breathing the free air again, Rhys gets a tete-a-tete with the Archbishop, and is made privy to certain information regarding Varia's anti-Antichrist. Namely, that she lives, and, what a shocker for a Fire Emblem game, is a lolly. We are supposed to deliver 3 wise men to her in Bandit Country so that they can convince her to come to the safety of the capital, where it is at least comparatively safer than out in the sticks. Whatever. Fine. My afternoon's free. I pick up some side quests. We're going to find a mirror that the arrow seller dropped while being pursued by bandits. We are going to find a hunter and the pelts that he was commissioned to deliver. We are going to kill some Razite priests and steal their magic orbs to sell in the city. We are going to find the servant girl's brother and give him a steady income so that his sister does not start selling her body dockside to make rent. And we're going to do all of this by bringing Axel for the swimming, Ward for the hunting, and Christine for the job offer. The Razite belongs to anyone who can take him. I am leaving Ruby behind on this one, but Sylvis and Dean are coming with. And Rhys's adoptive sister has sent us a care package, which contains $20,000, so I am flush with denarii again. Lynette is quite cool for that. She knows that I've got to spend money to make money. 20k seems like a lot at first, but those mercenary contracts and food bills are going to eat most of that in like 2 chapters. Just before the mission starts, we are treated to a bit of dramatic irony in which Kaga, through Ward, reveals to us in no uncertain terms, just in case we weren't paying attention, that Rhys and his sister are not related by blood. The decadent and sensuous Occident? I buy some arrows and swords, a couple of vulneraries, and we are off to the races. Okay, so this is a pretty cool map. Each of these priests is going to take a different road, converging on the temple in the northeast. Only one of them needs to reach the temple for the map to be beaten, but the more survive, the better your tactics ranking. And I kind of want to try to get Rhys to promote a chapter earlier than is demanded by the story, so I'm going to try and get a good tactics rank on this one. There are 3 side quest objectives in the eastern side and the lake, and 2 of those require Ward and Christine respectively, so there's a pretty good balance of tasks to manage. Although, admittedly, for Christine, her side quest happens so late in the chapter that you'll probably have been done with the map for a while and just kind of hanging out killing time until Esteban spawns for her. Other than that blemish, though, it's a lovely time. The priests are willing to heal my units, but they will not pause nor leave the road to do so. So if you want healing, you need to stick close to where they're going to be rather than where they are. They've only got 3 movement, so they're slow, but they are also complete lemmings, so if you don't send an escort or are not sufficiently proactive in breaking the way for them, they can definitely die fairly easy. These forests where we're starting out are harboring a couple of bandits with the hide skill, so I cannot see them until they attack or until I move next to them, except if I'm like nearby with a unit that has the watchful skill, of whom Zen is one of the only such units in the game. These hidden bandits are pretty weak though, so they're annoying for chip damage on the priests, but none of them are capable of one-shotting. Actually, I don't think any of the enemies on this map are able to one-shot a priest except for the boss. But there isn't a lot of buffer here either, since on a turn-to-turn basis, especially at the start of the map, the ratio of enemy-to-player units means that multiple enemies move for every one of your units. And the priests diverge pretty much instantly, and they don't heal each other. So my plan is simply to minimize exposure of the clergy to the aggression of the laity. In practical terms, this means that after the scrum at the start of the map, in which my troops are engaged in playing target practice with hidden bandits, I am going to push most of my units out along each road seeking combat, while having some units carefully occupy the terminal tile of the middle and eastward priest's movement range along their AI path. Thereby buying my other units a little more time to deal with the enemies ahead before the priests enter the danger zone. The northern passage is pretty safe. There's just 1 or 2 guys coming down the opposite way, and the priest can manage a bit of fire from the cliffs above, so it's survivable fairly simply if you've already dealt with the archers on the promontory below. I am therefore just gonna shove Ward up through and have everybody else split between the middle and eastern roads. Ward does need to reach the eastern forest on the map to fulfill his side quest, but there's no big hurry, and of all my units, he's the one who can most reliably take the long way around the map with nothing but a vulnerary in his pocket and still be just about strolling down Easy Street. Of middle and eastward, the east road is the easier since the enemies are spread pretty diffusely, and Chaos does not move to attack you, and he'll also exit the map before the priest reaches the building as long as you aren't like really, really slow with Fae. The middle priest, though, is going to lose half his HP in a cutscene once he reaches the house by the lake. Poor Orbital has also got to take a movement penalty from the shoal terrain, impeding his passage to the temple. And there are also a couple of archers up on that plateau overlooking said house with some troublesome skills in weaponry, which, while not super dangerous to my units, is plenty dangerous to this old codger. The pirate base is also going to start spawning dudes who can threaten the priest by their second move action, too. So I'm going to send horsemen up to clear the way with Adel and Leon, and eventually, given his slower movement speed, Dean to hold the plateau, and Albert to provoke Soak the pirates. Axel is swimming for that hand mirror, and he can assist with the pirates when they spawn too. I might have been able to use him to completely block the base, actually, now that I think about it, in retrospect, but at the time I was kind of greedy for XP and the thought didn't cross my mind. On the subject of that non-compos mentis mentality, ideally, I should have had the correct units in each unit cluster so that when Esteban shows up on the east, Christine is already there to recruit him, but I thought he spawned way sooner than he actually does, so I got my knickers in twist for no reason and was pretty sloppy with moving Christine efficiently. Several turns of her just moving to and fro and contributing no combat. I had also initially planned on having Reese with Adel and Leon down east, so that they could benefit doubly, both from their support bonus as well as his passive. But I changed my mind last minute, and while the Spear Boys were up in the middle attending to the archers, I was letting Reese get ahead of everybody on the east and try to get some XP, with just Faye and Sen straggling along behind him. By the time I pull myself together and get Reese some backup, I've gotten deadlocked at the northeast pass by the shoals. These pirates can kill the priest in 2 hits, so I need to keep using Elbert to provoke them into attacking him, but he's in front of the priest, and both of them can only move 1 tile on the shoals, and you have to sacrifice movement to use provoke, which sucks. So I'm pretty stuck. I did bring Axel, so I use him to break the deadlock, but not before a close shave with Azurna and the priest. Around this time, I also forget that the boss moves. It's a Seas map, and I thought he was sitting pretty on the temple stairs, like every other Fire Emblem boss in a Seas map. So I get cocky with Ward, and I eat a giant slab of damage. There goes that $1,000 horse that I just bought. But Ward survives, so I guess I can't complain. I run away, trying to rig up a boss kill for one of the spearmen, but because I ran west and the boss followed me, that means that the priest is now under threat again, so I end up just giving the kill to Axel. Meanwhile, this edgelord Chaos is blocking the way on the eastern route. No stranger of Paradise comments, please. He's got a magic sword plot armor, and while you can beat him, it is more likely that you'll lose most of your units trying, and you don't have to attack him because thankfully he is weak to cutscene. So I bring Faye. Faye talks to him. They do a little dramatic fight, which is scripted. She loses bad, is saved by a very mysterious man who I surely want to know more about, and then is taken out of action for part of the fight. Once the priest arrives to enter that particular building, then we get another little lore dump about magic sword MacGuffins. Faye is here to avenge her father or whatever, who used to have the swords before Chaos beat him up and stole them. Okay, cool. But the upshot is that we get Faye back now, and she has a miracle charm, which will protect her from death once. Nothing special about that charm. You get to use it whenever, but you can't take it off of Faye unless you recruit her. We are, however, strongly encouraged to use Faye because she obviously has plot relevance, and it is likely that Chaos will be showing up again to shit in my porridge. So you will be seeing Faye in this Ironman, and I am probably going to use up that miracle charm sometime before I recruit her because, again, low HP, low defense, and dodge tanking is not a reliable strategy in Berwick. And I am interjecting from the future with a relevant segue. I was fucking about on another playthrough because I'd seen clips on YouTube of an event you can get in this chapter that's supposedly related to Volo's questline, but it was in Japanese, so I couldn't read it. The activation condition appears to be having gotten Faye killed or captured, and if I'm remembering right from the Cern's Forest page, if Faye's gone, Volo's recruitment requirement drops by like half. Kind of a neat way to handle replacement units, actually, because normally Volo is so expensive that you actually have to put in a lot of time and a lot of money to recruit him permanently. But so I took a non-Ironman playthrough really quick and pushed through to chapter 3 real quick to see what was what. Faye actually seems to get 1 free death. If she gets killed, that mysterious, smoldering, teal-haired dreamboat rescues her. Although I think the cost of Faye's soft resurrection is that Faramir is no longer recruitable, or that he leaves the party. That said, even if you leave Faye benched for this map, she'll show up anyway on turn 10 to get rid of Chaos for you as long as she's alive. And the same scene plays out. So you don't even need to bring her at all for chapter 3 if you don't want. The only extra utility she provides regarding Chaos here is that you can clear him off before turn 10, because, as it happens, if you've managed the actually rather effortful feat of getting Faye killed either twice if you got her killed the first time before this chapter, or once if you got her killed during this chapter, then Chaos will just get bored and fuck off on his own, like, once turn 10 comes near. You can even attack him a couple times and it doesn't matter. He just teleports away. And then when the priest does arrive at the building, Kaga sets up a sick porno scenario before remembering what the game's rating is and hand-waving away all the panting and sweating he was doing. And then you get a much easier Volo recruitment. But I want Fae, and I want Faramir, and I want the Miracle Charm, and I want the Fae Paralog. So I'm not going to bother with Volo, but he costs too much. I might hire him as a sacrificial unit at some point in the future, but I got no plans to recruit him. So this fort in the middle of the map is spawning pirates just about every turn, so I use Fae to dodge tank and grab a couple of sword ranks. The priests finish arriving, I get all three, and Esteban shows up on time, and I have Christine in place to give him the guild trip. He returns to Navarone, and I'll be able to start hiring him from now on. The same turn, this bounty shows up. If he enters the forest, he'll be hidden unless I'm within 3 tiles of him with Zen. Nobody else will be able to see unless they're right next to him. I have Sylvis already with an Overwatch and the highest accuracy arrows and bow that I can have on her. Got Reese here to lure the assassin in, but instead of running to attack me, he splits. I don't know what is going on with the AI here. Maybe he's just not coded to attack Reese specifically. I don't know, but he does have a knife with a very, very, very high crit chance, so he is quite dangerous. So I was kind of hoping to bait him in and then swamp him with my units, but instead I spend the next several turns chasing him down. I go whole hog because I want every denarii I can get, and Adol takes an 80% crit at 25 damage. He survives because he was full HP before the fight, but Reese would have died. I don't seem to be able to provoke Garros, so I go ahead and risk Leon's life too while I'm at it, and lucky me, he hits. Thank you for the denarii, loser. We finish up, and the priests convince the apostle to enter Navarone incognito so that she can be protected better. I get my quest rewards, highlights being a 30% lifetime discount on the daily special at the restaurant, some very nice sniper arrows, and confirmation that Christine has daddy issues. And then, as if Reese didn't have enough good karma, who should he run into while taking some air but a princess on the run from an evil empire with her wisecracking and hypermasculine mercenary with so much heavy dick swing that his parents named him Sherpa? Oh yes, I want these two in my debt. And in my army. Sherpa's weapon hits 3 times per battle. That's fucking nuts. He's gonna make the Fae Paralog so much easier for me. He is also one of the easiest recruitments in the game. As an unfortunate consequence of this, I'm not going to use him as much as the units who are much harder to recruit and much worse. But when he does come around, I will be very happy about that. First, though, I need to make sure that Agena doesn't die. This is a Fog of War map, but pretty easy overall. Should have probably gone over the mountains instead of around them. Wow. So I'm using the map to train some scrubs. I hired Esteban, Arthur, Ruby, and Kramer so that I can start boosting levels. Kramer is going to become a much more familiar face soon because, like many of the mercenaries, he needs level 10 to join me permanently. Dean got enough kills last map that I'm leaving him out of this one. I have brought Elbert and Sylvis instead. Ruby I've only hired to keep her happiness level growing, and Arthur I bring so I can give him a level and maybe get some shield rank. We push on through. Esteban is making a very nice first impression, I have to say, crippling 2 of the guards and giving me a little extra cash when I sell their confiscated weaponry. I make a big mistake and use a vulnerary on Sherpa when I don't have to. That is nearly 500 denarii down the drain. I wasn't sure if the boss would spawn reinforcements when I attacked him, so I used the vulnerary as a safety strat, but I should not have. Anyways, now Agena joins us permanently, and Sherpa becomes available as a mercenary. Oh, and we get the Palace Rihanna, which recovers 8 uses per chapter and attacks 4 times per strike. That is very nice, and I will be using it and its packaging, Agena, whenever there are big armor knights to kill, or certain species of dragon which are weak to wind. But otherwise, I won't be using Agena very much. Okay, next side quest. We are out looking for wild horses. I bring Esteban, Faye, Elbert, and Kramer for this one. Kramer and Ruby set up in the forest, and between Overwatch and Kramer's dodge, effectively roadblock the left passage, while Esteban and Elbert handle the right side, with Esteban sometimes opportunistically shooting over the hedge. Nothing to write home about. There's 4 horses, I catch 2, grind some sword rank and a level for Esteban, take too long fighting the scrubs, and the boss leaves, so I miss out on that bounty, which is a pity, but I finish up, and then I prep for the next chapter. I keep Dean, Sylvis, Ruby, and Axel employed, and I cut ties with the rest for now. The next chapter has nowhere for Esteban to hide, and Faye is too squishy to be reliable, so I'm going to be relying on horses for the most part. I'll get Ruby one before the battle starts. And that's a wrap for chapter 3.